Welcome to Poland Daily Culture. I'm Polina Odra, and today I'll take you on a journey through the Royal Palace in Wrocław. The Royal Palace is a palace in Wrocław, Poland, built in the 17th century. Originally a palace of the Prussian monarchy, it now houses the City Museum. In the middle of the 19th century, drawing on a Florentine Renaissance style, architect Friedrich August Stüler added a new southern wing 1844 to 1846 and a new courtyard wings along with a gate and railing in 1858. In 1918, the palace was donated to the city of Breslau. On 20th of September 1926, the Palace Museum, Schloss Museum, was opened, displaying an exposition devoted to Friedrich the Great, reconstruction of original interiors, and a collection of Silesian art.
Now we know a little bit about, where that name, or we can at least hazard a guess as to where the name came from. Do we know much about the actual founders of the city, the kind of founding fathers, as
this is also a complicated and mysterious problem. The first founders of this settlement on the Cathedral Island, they were probably members of a tribe, of a Slavonic tribe, Polish tribe called Ślężanie. They founded a settlement, not a city even, the farm settlement on the island, on the Odra River. That was even before the Polish state, founded by Mieszko I, was established. Yes.
I see. So over the years, this kind of more than 1,000-year period, it's a very unsettled period where, there was a sort of foreign rule, establishment of independence, etc. Could you tell us a little more about that?
Yes, this is the most typical in Wrocław history, that nothing was stable, nothing was once forever. For the first 350 years of history, since the year 990, Wrocław belonged to the state of Piast, the first Polish dynasty. The first ruler, the historical ruler from Poland, Mieszko I, somehow conquered Silesia in about the year 990. And for the first 350 years of its history, it belonged to Poland, to the Piast dynasty. And in the first half of the 14th century, the last Piast from Wrocław, the Duke Henry V died, and Silesia, together with Wrocław, this part of Silesia became a part of the Czech kingdom. Poland was rather weak at the time and separated into many almost independent states, and Wrocław and Silesia became a part of Czech kingdom, but not for a very long time, very long period. 200 years, about 200 years later, the Czech king died as a young man in a battle of Mohács. The whole Czech kingdom, together with Silesia, became a part of the Habsburg state. So the next state, the Austrian state, Silesia and Wrocław. And 200 years later, in the middle of the 18th century, that was so-called Silesian wars between Austria and Prussia, a part of Germany. And Prussian king Frederick II won the wars, 3 wars, and conquered Silesia and Wrocław. And from the middle of the 18th century, the Prussian first and German ruling of Wrocław started. And it lasted also for about 200 years.
It really seems to be
Yeah.
this kind of cycle
Yes.
of 200
Yes,
years
this
going on.
The kind of cycle, this German ruling of Wrocław, then called Breslau, this is the German name of our city, it ended together with the end of the Second War, when after 600 years Wrocław returned to Poland.
I see. So we're approaching the kind of halfway point of our 200-year cycle now.
Yes, I hope not. I hope the cycle will be much, much longer. I hope for me and for Wrocław, of course.
Of course,
Yes.
of course. Well,
Yes.
as we're sort of thinking about these kind of cycles and eras, etc., what would, in your opinion, what was the kind of, shall we say, golden era for Wrocław?
I think that was the 15th century.
Uh-huh.
So the late medieval time, and Wrocław was on the cross of two trade roads. One, a royal route from Paris to Kiev, from the west to the east, and the second road from the south to the north, from Italy to the Baltic Sea and Scandinavia, the famous Amber route. And this is exactly on the cross of these two routes Wrocław is founded, and so that was the golden age of trading and golden age for merchants. And that's why this is also the golden age for Wrocław.
So much of what was established then was perhaps the foundation for what we kind of have
now.
today.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
fantastic.
And one more thing which could be interesting, that Wrocław is a mixture, cultural mixture of Polish influences, Czech influences, Austrian, German, but also Jews and French influences, because in the 19th century, during the Napoleonic Wars, Wrocław was for 1 year, Wrocław was under French occupation and of Napoleon Bonaparte army. And we have also some influences, some shape of square or shape of boulevard on the Odra River are also made on a pattern of
sort of French design, yeah?
Yes,
Okay.
French design. So many influences of so many different cultures, nations and religions. That's why, in my opinion, Wrocław is so interesting city.
Indeed. I tell you what, let's go and explore some more of it.
Yeah.